Hampshire close in on a hugely significant LV County Championship victory, just their second of the season if it happens, as they continue to boss their latest game with Warwickshire at the Ageas Bowl. Hampshire began the penultimate morning on 82 for 1 in their second innings after taking a 160-run advantage from the first, and James Vince and Michael Carberry, who both began the day with 34 runs to their names, were soon confirming their team's domination of this contest. Vince, who's been struggling for form all summer long in red ball cricket, went after Jitan Patel, hitting this delivery for 6. On his way to a third half-century of the championship summer, one which was made off 105 balls, that maximum and 6 other boundaries included. It's funny how much easier batting can become when your team is so far in the ascendancy, as Hampshire were by now. A fifth 4 then took Carberry to his 50, his 7th in this tournament this year, off a patient 120 deliveries. These two were making absolutely sure that the decision not to enforce the follow-on on the previous day did not backfire on their team. And on these two went, both at last putting a score of real note on the board. The fact that neither of these two very skilled and talented batsmen had posted a 3-figure score between them all season long in 4-day cricket is of course a big surprise, and one of the reasons why their team started this match at the foot of the First Division table by themselves. The brief break from the red ball game appears to have done both some good. Here they added 180 runs for the second wicket. For Carberry, that ton this year remains elusive. On 91 he nicked off to Boyd Rankin, Tim Ambrose with a brilliant take behind, but he had put his side 354 runs to the good, so should be proud of his performance. Rankin was soon celebrating again as Will Smith went in the same way to a more aggressive shot for a couple. Hampshire heading to lunch on 215 for 3, 375 runs ahead, and with Vince on 93. He was soon at his long-awaited 100. He scored them for fun last year, reaching 3 figures 4 times in Championship cricket. But given the plight of his team right now, he would have certainly taken this. His ton coming off 170 balls with 11 4s and 1 6. Class will always out, they say, and that appears to be true. It was now all about getting some quick runs, and Vince deposited Patel, who's had a very rare poor match with the ball, over the rope for his second maximum. Vince and Joe Gatting now blazed the ball to all parts in adding 68 runs in only 8 overs, and that allowed Hampshire to declare half an hour into the afternoon session on 283 for 3, Gatting making 31 off 27 balls, and Vince heading off with a warm glow after scoring 125. So Warwickshire were left with a target of 444 to win, and they made steady progress through the first 10 overs. Ian Westwood and Varun Chopra would have noticed that their bowlers got little help from this surface, and so they shouldn't have been overly concerned, even though both Fidel Edwards and Mason Crane bagged fifers in the first innings when Warwickshire were blown away. But then on 11, Chopra was undone by a ball from Gareth Berg which kept low to have the batsman out LBW with 34 runs of that target knocked off. 13 runs later and Laurie Evans was bowled by a beauty from Jackson Bird, the number 3 out for a duck after spending 22 minutes trying to get off the mark. Before tea, Jonathan Trott was also on his way for 5, Liam Dawson firing one in to trap the batsman leg before at 56 for 3. Hampshire were doing absolutely everything right, and into the final session, Edwards delivered a fast Yorker which proved to be way too good for Sam Hain, another LBW victim, on 11. Now on 71 for 4, Warwickshire were in a heap of trouble, but Westwood kept on fighting and he made it to a hard-working half-century of 105 balls, his 8th boundary taking the left-hander to his mark. That done, he now needed to get his head back down for yet more tough work ahead. But instead he was out next ball, Smith with the sharp catch under the helmet at short leg. It was a wicket which put Hampshire on the verge. But they were then held up by Ricky Clark and Ambrose. While the latter blocked as much as he could, hardly playing a shot in anger, Clark played his natural game and picked off the runs when he was given the opportunity to do so. Many across the country would have been surprised with how the visitors have performed in this game, with Yorkshire winning yet again in Scarborough. Warwickshire were now watching their own title dreams disappear. Clark showed bags of character in reaching a 50 off only 55 balls with his 9th 4. There were now only 3 overs of the day remaining, and he and Ambrose looked as if they had seen their side through to the close for them to regroup, and then, well, you never know. But Edwards ended the day charging in again. He found the edge of Ambrose's bat, and Vince finished an excellent day for him by clinging on at slip. Ambrose out for 16 after nearly an hour and a half of crease occupation. Clark and Chris Wokes then saw out the remaining deliveries to end the day with their side on 161 for 6. They then go into the last day needing 283 more, Hampshire requiring just 4 more wickets, which will make the battle at the foot of the First Division table all that more interesting in the last month of the season.